Did the world make progress on climate change? Here's what was decided at global talks. Wow. Okay, so COP27 happened. This is exactly what happened. Continuous climate negotiations ended in Sharm el Sheikh, Egypt, as negotiators from around the world finalized the modest deal to help control global warming and pay the costs of a hotter Earth. Deep seated tensions flared between richer countries that have prospered by burning fossil fuels and developing ones, which are burn, bearing the burn of climate-driven disasters. But in a historic moves, countries agreed to establish a fund to support poorer countries already hit hardest by the impacts. Now, you are neglecting the fact that as the climate goes higher and higher, the people that die of hypothermia and the cold are dying at lesser numbers, obviously, because if the climate is going up, then the people that are at the lowest temperatures are actually going down. Now, you're saying this as if the climate's raising at 100,000 degrees per day. No, it's not. It's going 2 degrees every, 100 years? According to some really good sources on the matter. I can't pull up with them at the moment, but again, we can look at these facts and you can look at the temperature rising over time. You can see, at the last 100 years, less than 2 degrees was raised. Now, over the next 500 years, you can say the average temperature of the Earth would raise, 10 degrees? Now, by this 10 degrees, you can look at the lowest temperature, you can look at the highest temperature. The lowest temperature actually kills more people than the highest temperature. More people die from hypothermia per year than people that die from heat strokes. Okay, you can actually compare and contrast these data. You can look at people that die in Alaska. You can compare the people that die in Mexico, okay? These people are very, very different, obviously, but these two different people actually die at different things. And there's a lot of different factors, but you can boil it down to the climate, okay? So, like I said, less people die in the heat than actually in the cold. Now, continuing on, we have deep-seated tension. Okay, I read that. In a statement at the close of the meeting, Leah Nelson of the island nation of Antigua and Barbuda said the new fund must be a lifeboat that what we needed to be. The negotiators went nearly 2 days, put their scheduled deadline into hostage phase. As the one South African delegate put it, countries struggling to compromise on the plan would reduce global dependence on fossil fuels while helping vulnerable countries pay for damage caused by worsening sea level rise, storms, droughts, and heat waves, and other climate-driven disasters. Okay, so now you're just putting us on the payroll for paying the duties that we also have to suffer from. Just because we use, quote, fossil fuels. Okay, go ask Russia to pay for their fossil fuels. Go ask China to pay for their fossil fuels. And now you're going to have plenty of money. Now you're stealing from all of us. But, I can almost guarantee that China and Russia is not going to pay for that climate. North Korea is not going to pay for their climate. South Korea, all of these other nations, Iran, Iraq, these places are not going to pay for their climate because they don't care. They're just going to burn whatever they want because you know why? Because they don't want to. They want to, they're going to do it, okay? You're going to make them pay for it? No, you're going to make us, the free countries that actually care, pay for it. Even though we're not the only ones doing it, everybody else does. So, the final deal announced Sunday morning in Egypt reiterates the goal set by the 2015 Paris Climate Agreement to keep overall global warming from rising more than 1.5 degrees Celsius, about 2.8 degrees Fahrenheit compared to pre-industrial era of the 1800s. Like I said, 2.8 degrees since 1800s. We are in the year 2022. 2,200 years, the climate only rose 2.8 degrees. That's less than what I said. I like how they involve these facts, and they really don't want you to pay attention to them. They just want you to go and read that and say, "Ooh, that's nice," and then just go and just don't pay attention to that. We're gonna put this right here, these facts right here. We're not going to just don't question. Just keep reading. But it is unclear how the goal will be achieved because negotiators could not agree that fossil fuels must be phased out. The vast majority of planet warming pollution comes from humans' use of oil, gas, coal, and most remaining fossil fuels deposits must remain untapped in order to rein in global warming. Scientists have determined. Scientists have determined. Let's take a look at these quote scientists. I mean, if you guys really wanted to see the quote scientists that determined this, you can go and read the article that they did link. So, I mean, NPR, you didn't do any research, but I thank the people that actually did research on this matter. And this was published on September 8th, 2021. So, actually last year. So, quote, we call for reduced CO2 emissions, said Zambro's Environment Minister Collins Nuskview after the meeting ended. That's a basic issue right now. And it is the question of how old is too old have also dodged President Biden and the oldest president coincidentally ever to take oath in office. Polls have found even Democratic voters express doubts about whether he's too old for the job. Okay, if you're stumbling upstairs, if you're falling asleep during speeches, if you don't know what you're saying, if you don't know what you're doing, and if you have a whole entire criteria of what you should do on a step-by-step guide as if you're in preschool, then yes, you are very much too old to be president of the United States. But at the same exact time, if you can function like a normal human being, right, in government, if you can function, then we won't have a problem with you. But since the fact that you are showing your age, okay, and we really don't want to see the age of you, then we will have to say no. We will have to say, you are too old, okay? That's it. You are too old and you are too old. So on Sunday, Biden turns 80. And that's actually when we're filming today. That's actually today. He has said he will be talking with his family during the next couple of months about whether to make a good on intention to seek a second term, at the end of which he will be 86. He's almost going to be 90 years old. God. I mean, happy birthday to him. But honestly, do you really want to die while you're president of the United States? No. You really don't. You really don't want to die. And honestly, I mean, as much as Joe Biden is showing his age, right? It's a very stressful job, and you need to have the mental wellness to do it. And you need to not have a heart attack while you're doing it too, because if you're too old, you're just going to have a heart attack if there's a war that breaks out. Not good. So, hey, were you really going to click off this video before leaving a like and subscribing down below? Wow, so rude.